Tens of thousands flee Iraq's Mosul. Iraq crisis, Islamists force 150,000 to flee Mosul. More than 150,000 people have been forced to flee Iraq's second city of Mosul after Islamist militants effectively took control of it. Troops were among those fleeing as hundreds of jihadists from the ISIS group overran it and much of the surrounding province of Nineveh. Iraqi PM Nouri Maliki responded by asking Parliament to declare a state of emergency to grant him greater powers. The U.S. said the development showed ISIS is a threat to the entire region. U.S. State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki said the situation in Mosul was extremely serious and that the U.S. supported a strong, coordinated response to push back against this aggression. A spokesman for UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said he was gravely concerned at the situation. He encouraged the Iraqi government and the Kurdish regional government to cooperate in restoring security to region. Kurdish Appeal residents said jihadist flags were flying from buildings and that the militants had announced over loudspeakers they had come to liberate Mosul. "The situation is chaotic inside the city and there is nobody to help us," said government worker Karim. "We are afraid." Many police stations were reported to have been set on fire and hundreds of detainees set free. The army forces threw away their weapons, changed their clothes, abandoned their vehicles and left the city, Mahmoud Nouri, a resident fleeing Mosul, told the AFP news agency. Meanwhile, the Turkish consulate in Mosul confirmed reports that 28 Turkish lorry drivers had been abducted by militants in Nineveh province. Sources have told BBC Arabic that the tens of thousands of fleeing refugees are heading to 3 towns in the nearby region of Kurdistan where authorities have set up temporary camps for them. Kurdistan Prime Minister Neshirvan Barzani issued a statement appealing to the UN Refugee Agency for help. Security sources told the BBC that fierce fighting had erupted between Iraqi forces and ISIS Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, fighters in a town called Rashad near Kirkuk, southeast of Mosul. There were also reports that jihadists had seized other areas of Kirkuk and 2 towns in the neighboring Salaheddin province. In a televised announcement, Mr. Maliki said that security forces had been placed on a state of maximum alert. He also said he had asked Parliament to declare a state of emergency, which would broaden arrest powers and allow curfews to be imposed, and a general mobilization of civilians. ISIS has been informally controlling much of Nineveh province for months and in the past week has attacked cities and towns in western and northern Iraq, killing scores of people. After 5 days of fighting, they took control of key installations in Mosul, which has a population of about 1.8 million. The Iraqi government is struggling with a surge in sectarian violence that killed almost 800 people, including 603 civilians, in May alone, according to the UN. Last year, more than 8,860 people died. The offensive by ISIS fighters has been advancing in both Iraq and neighboring Syria, capturing territory in a campaign to set up a militant enclave straddling the border. Parts of Ramadi, the capital of Anbar province, and much of the nearby city of Fallujah have been under the control of ISIS and its allies since late December, something that Mr. Maliki has been unable to reverse.